So we just played against Kobe, and now we're playing against Toby. Round 4, Eternal Weekend Tolarian Academy. Let's do this. Uh, yeah, this is fine. A little awkward. Because I'm pretty sure we have to fetch for an island, and then we can't cast either of our 2/2 drops without drawing the correct color. But I mean, we have a Ponder, Force, Mental Misstep, Demonic Tutor, so I mean, I don't think this is a mulligan by any means. Alright, this is pretty decent. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw the Lavinia now, so I can use it to pitch to. I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna play the Underground Sea and fetch away the Opal for sure. This at least gives me multiple cards to pitch to Force. We'll just Demonic for Ancestral. Now I really want to be able to cast a Lavinia. Seven cards on the draw. Because I have another Force to back up my own play. I kind of do want to force this. It's not a good force if opponent is on HogaakVine, but I think it's a pretty decent force if opponent is on HogaakVine. Either way, I kind of do want to keep a Lavinia. Both of these cards are very good against, or this card is good against both of the different Bizarre decks. I think having two forces gives me the ability to counter this. Could be wrong though, especially being the opponent has 7 cards in the draw. See if it's Hogaak or HogaakVine. HogaakVine, I'm going to regret it a little bit. Our hand doesn't line up very well against either deck. Our hand's obviously a little bit slow and doesn't have a ton of power. So it's going to be a challenge. I could very easily see us not having much of a chance and going to game 2. So it is HogaakVine. So at least our force was a little bit better. I'm not gonna mental misstep this Ruwala. I would rather mental misstep like a Deathrite Shaman. I'm gonna mental misstep that. I don't want them to put like Hogaak in the yard. Alright, well that's not too bad for us. Definitely think I'm still just going to Demonic for Ancestral. Don't really think there's another option here. Well, we don't have a land for. We can't play a Mentor. We can't play a Tinker. I think this makes sense. So if they don't get a Hogaak into play this turn, hopefully our Ancestral can draw us into a white source for Lavinia, and then we get safe from Hogaaks. And we just have to beat the onboard. Nope, they hit a Hogaak. So as long as they have a land, they can play Hogaak. They have exactly a wasteland, so I lose my land, and they play a Hogaak. I can force the Hogaak to buy some time. Probably will. The Hogaak, you don't pay any mana to cast Hogaak. So Lavinia says if your opponent casts a spell and no mana was spent to cast it, you counter it. You can cast it, it gets countered. I'm going to counter this to buy time though. It's not terrible, but I need some help. Do I hold this? No. They want to wasteland it with me having no artifacts. That's fine. Yeah, Lavinia is a very strange card. It's worded pretty odd, I would say. Let's see if opponent uses. Oh, they hit a Vengevine. They're actually gonna trigger a Vengevine here and cast their Hogak again. Incredible. So I kind of have to win on my next turn. So I take 7. Yeah, I have to win on this turn, but it's feasible with an Academy, double artifacts, and a Brainstorm. It's not unwinnable. They don't have any Force of Vigor right now, so there's no reason not to. All right, so is there any plus side to using top first? I don't think so. Do I want to use Academy? Yes, I do need to use Academy. We're just looking for a Tinker. A PO is not great, but okay. Oh, that should do it. So, all right, if I play. So I activate top, draw Lotus, go Lotus Yogwell. Do I want to make any other color of mana here? Probably just blue. So I have Ancestral Demonic Tutor. I kind of want to redraw top in case I go for a. I only have 7 life. Can I even go for like a Citadel line? I kind of need to like hit an extreme number of cards and go for like a Mentor Time Walk or like draw my whole deck. Do I want a top? I guess is the real question. Because that changes if I Ancestral now or later. Hmm. So I could go Demonic. The problem with Demonic and I going Mentor is I need a Time Walk. Because this is Trample. I think I have to start with Ancestral. Well, I don't want to like pigeonhole myself into a game plan with Demonic right away. That's my only concern. What's Ancestral? Oh, I knew I had Narset. That was pretty bad. I probably should have Demonic then. I knew I had Narset and top on top, so that was really bad. I should have not done that. That was super, super bad. At least it replaces itself with the Opal, so it's not a huge deal. So let's brainstorm and then demonic them away. Brainstorm. We definitely don't want Snapcaster or Narsa here. And then let's get the colorless mana. Demonic. So what can I even demonic for now? Can I get up to a PO, a reasonable PO? It looks like we can get to a reasonable PO. We have Demonic down to 3 mana, Lotus back to 5 mana with the Opal. So I can play top and PO for 5. I also have. I could also fetch. I think I played this turn really badly. We should just fetch instead. I think we played this turn pretty awful. Hmm. It's a little late. I should have fetched to start. The very first thing that I did in this turn should have probably been fetch land to clear the Narset and the top away. I think we just want to first cycle this repeal. That's not a bad draw. I think we're just going to go for a PO here. I guess we can look with our top. Oh, I don't know if I want to spend the mana to look. 6 mana currently. 7 mana currently. So I could ponder too. Maybe I just want to start by pondering. Okay, so now I have Mentor Time Walk. I lose my top though. No, I don't lose my top because I'm drawing off of Ponder. So I have 3 mana. I need 7 mana to do this, and I can. So I do have to have. I do have to. Maybe we should still just demonic PO. Like I know I want Time Walk, but I think it makes more sense to PO right away here with my current board. Okay, so I can PO again. I don't think I need to play the Mentor out right now. I think I would rather just get the full PO first. Maybe I didn't actually need to do that. I think it's just game from here anyways. I think we navigated that turn okay, but not great. I just need to find Time Walk and we win this game. Oh, there it is. That was actually pretty low probability of winning from that game. From that turn. I'm at 9 cards now. It was actually pretty low probability to win from there, but pretty happy we did. A lot of clock. I have to play a little bit faster. Yep. It was a really hard combo turn, so it took a long time. We comboed from basically no reasonable cards in hand. So we automatically have a lethal attack next turn because we have 2 tops, which can top on top each other. I didn't play my mana crypt, so let's just go to my time walk turn. You guys never just pass the turn after getting Infinite Storm? Thank you. I appreciate that. I went overkill, but I just wanted to not think about it. Sorry. All right, so I'll deal like 50 damage or whatever. So that was really fun. I don't think we played that the best. I think we could have sequenced that better and given ourselves more chances to win. Obviously, the brainstorm hitting Yogwill and Lotus was the most insane part of it. And it was a lot easier once we had hit that off brainstorm. But I think if you put like the deck in front of me with a brainstorm from that position and ask me to win, I think most of the time you'll fail. So pretty happy with that. We're gonna bring in Pithing Needle, Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Swords to Plowshares in Balance. We're gonna leave in Repeal. I think we leave in Citadel. Actually, we might take out Citadel just because Sphinx is always a win. Don't need a Hercules. You like Misstep in this matchup. I don't like Remora. I don't like Flusterstorm. I don't like one Opal. Um, I don't like Narset. So that's pretty reasonable. You could even theoretically keep the Opal and like take out a Night's Whisper or something. We could keep in the Bolas Sigilla if we wanted to. Tendrils is not a good card by itself, so it's not a suitable win con to play in your vintage deck. Monastery Mentor and Bolas' Citadel are both good cards on their own, whereas Tendrils does nothing on its own. Trying to figure out if I would rather like cut a Night's Whisper and keep my Citadel just so I have the option. I think I would like that. The reason I want to cut down on Opal is because opponent's going to play Collector Roof, Deafening Silence, and Force of Vigor. Maybe that's just like a good enough reason that we just don't even want this at all, and we just want to go with our Sphinx plan. So like Sphinx of Steelwind has pro green. All their removal spells are green. So unless they're playing something special in their deck that I don't know about, this card is unkillable. And it has first strike, flying, lifelink, and they can't do shit about it. Thinker is an okay. It's pretty good. Thinker is pretty good without Citadel, but it's obviously completely stupid with Citadel. Dom asks if Blightsteel for Sphinx is a recent or universal change. It is both a recent and not a universal change. It is a change that I am making because of how well it lines up versus the current iterations of Hogaak and HogaakVine, as well as Dak Oko and some of the non-white blue decks. I actually think that the card is, it's super beatable from those decks if they just build differently, but I don't think the decks have built differently yet. So I think you still want tops, even with no Citadel. This hand's great. I have a counter. I have a counter spell and a needle, so happy with this. They're gonna go for turn one Deafening Silence here, which I am gonna force. Oh, they're gonna go for turn one. Oof, sorry. Am I gonna force pitching Scroll or am I gonna force pitching PO? We currently are in need of a mana for PO, and we will only be picking up 3 cards as it is. So I think it's better to just pitch the PO and merchant for Scroll. PO is also worse against opponent having a Force of Vigor, so obviously our turn is going to be really sad if opponent forces a Vigor, but I don't really think I want to play around it in any capacity. We should play around Mindbreak Trap though, so I'm gonna play it like this. I probably should have fetched for Underground Sea. That was probably wrong. My first instinct is to play around Wasteland. No, I don't know. I think ensuring my Ancestral with not getting Wasteland is probably more important. Is this a Stitcher Supplier? Okay. Hit Deafening Silence. Oof. Rootwalla. I actually think Sphinx gains you less points against Bazaar because I think Blightsteel is or against sorry, it gives you points against Jazar and Bug decks, yes, but you lose some points against shops. Definitely true. So I played around the Wasteland correctly, so that feels pretty good. It's definitely worse against shops than Blightsteel is, especially with Stonecoil Serpent existing, who has Pro Sphinx. No hold up in doing that. Wow, we didn't. We can just tinker this turn if we don't want to play around Mindbreak Trap. They're not F6'd anymore. So what I can do is I could Yogwill play the land, cast Time Walk, or Yogwill play the land, cast Ancestral. I think I'm going to do it just because Sphinx should win the game. I might get trapped, but that's fine. I guess I could just tinker right now. No, I want to play around Mindbreak Trap, I think. Obviously, they should have trapped my Yogwill if they had it, but I don't think there's any reason not to play around it. I'm going to be able to tinker no matter what next turn. No, we don't need the ancestral because there should be no way they can stop Tinker Sphinx, and there should be no way for them to beat Tinker Sphinx. I'm gonna hold this needle. So there are cards that opponent can play in their deck that will kill a Sphinx, but I don't think currently any Hogaak lists are playing them. So it would have to be on the opponent to have figured that out, that it is a problem and something that they need to answer. We're not playing our other needle because it doesn't help us against Force of Vigor, so we would rather hold the other needle in our hand. Yes, so there's the Vigor. The problem with Blightsteel is it doesn't beat a lot of the boards that go really wide from the opponent. There's a lot of boards that the opponent can have where they go really wide and Blightsteel can't attack in for lethal. Citadel would have lost on the spot, Mason, because they would have Force of Vigored my Citadel. So I would disagree with that statement. Yo, how's it going, Lawrence? I really liked your article. Congrats on the monthly gig. Like in this game, I tinkered an opponent cast a Force of Vigor on my Pithing Needle and Jet. If I had went for Citadel, I could have lost the game on the spot, and that's what I'm trying to play around. But this is a real reward for teching out my sideboard here. PO with red is fine. Piero. And I don't really like how Pyroblast plays in the deck, so it's a personal preference thing for me. It is a personal preference thing for me. If you want to hear about my thoughts about Pio, you can definitely check out my latest video on YouTube. If you're not on my YouTube list yet, it's down below and it's in chat. And I'm gonna link it. I talk about Vintage for 2.5 hours this week.
I believe he either won
basically
or
everything I thought about all the decks in the format, what I think about the metagame. So if you're interested in playing Vintage Eternal Weekend later this week, I highly suggest checking that out. I also highly suggest watching it on 2x speed because not many people have 2.5 hours to burn. So might as well cut that down. Yeah. Game 1 was crazy. I think we're like a super low percentage to win in that spot. Let's go check it out, actually. I'm kind of interested. Maybe we can learn something by going back and looking at the situation from game 1. Why do I keep doing that? Doing that. I don't want to hear myself over and over doing that.
Stop it.
All right, let's go back and look at game 1. Is this where we were? Okay, yeah. Opponent hit pretty well here and put a Hogaak into play, and then we had to deploy the fleet and see how it goes. So this brainstorm has to be lit. Like right here, I'm at 4 blue mana. I guess there's like I guess this doesn't have to be lit. It can just be Pio. And then I get to keep going a little bit. Soul Ring Opal top is not the most consistent Pio chain artifacts, so there's like reasonable chance that this can fall through. Are you 4-0, Ben? I know you were 3-0. I assume you're 4-0. Let's just take a second and oh, maybe not. I don't know. I want to take a second and think about how we could have sequenced our Yogg-Will better, because I think we sequenced our Yogg-Will poorly. Excuse me, I'm gonna. The problem with that line of thinking, Mason, is if my opponent has a Force of Vigor on the stack, the only spells that I can cast off of my Citadel are instants. You actually don't have that many instants in PO. You have a lot of sorcery spells. All your Moxen. Alright, so here... Alright, can we make this any bigger? You guys probably can't see very well. The first thing we should have done this turn is cracked this fetch for a Tundra and shuffled away the top and the Narset, both of which we don't really want. Well, I'm not actually sure that's true, because top end up being is a pretty pivotal card in creating valuable POs. I don't know if it's true that we don't want the top. If we say we want the top, maybe we're supposed to brainstorm, draw the top, and then fetch. A little hard to say. Yogg-Will, Lotus would have been the two cards I could pick to draw. Yeah, probably. Probably. Mentor Time Walk. Mentor Time Walk and a PO is also a set of cards that I would like to draw. Stuff like that. Well, I guess Mentor Time Walk actually costs too much mana, so maybe not Mentor PO. Yeah, so I think if we play this turn wrong, it's all about not fetching away like Narset, but I don't know if maybe we wanted top, right? Maybe we wanted top, so we brainstorm, draw the top, fetch away, Ancestral Recall. I don't like casting Ancestral Recall to start. I think that's definitely wrong. If I want the top, I should cast Ponder or Brainstorm, and then fetch, and then Ancestral Recall. Kind of interesting. I really do think that, like, from this brainstorm, I probably say we're less than 50% to win off this brainstorm, I would think. I mean, the 3rd draw off of Ancestral was good. Like, drawing Mox Opal there as the 3rd unknown was a good draw, for sure. So, I don't think it didn't, like, end up terribly, but I think if you put me in this spot most games, I think you would lose based on your brainstorm draw, but certainly an interesting spot. Yeah, I think because we determined that I have to have either exactly Mentor Time Walk or an effective PO chain through my deck, drawing a top is very good towards very helpful in producing a deck drawing PO chain. And that's exactly how we won the game, right? We used the top to create a deck drawing PO chain. All right. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Um yeah, by all means, when we finish our rounds, if you want to go hang out with other vintage streamers and watch their finishing matches, I have no problem with that. I just hope you come back later and watch more with me. I really care about this, so I'm going to watch this in between.